Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and welcome back to Chatterbox, and good morning, because it is morning where I am, and this is my first coffee of the day. Cheers. Well, Chatterbox is back. It's been a minute since I did a Chatterbox, hasn't it? And now is a very, very good time to do a Chatterbox because I need to chat about what's going on and what's coming next. The Defiant series is finished. Even More Modelling for Beginners is finished, and I do think that is the last sort of Modelling for Beginners series that I will do, at least in that format. Looking out a little bit further into the future than the immediate future, I do want to do a Biplanes for Beginners series, along a similar line to what I've been doing with Modelling for Beginners, but it won't be pitched so much at beginner modellers as modellers who aren't used to biplanes, if that makes sense. For that, my intention is to use one of the ICM 1/32 biplane kits. Currently I have the Gladiator, the Tiger Moth, the Stearman and the Japanese version of the Young Man, or is it Young Meister, in the stash already. There's no saying I won't end up with a Henschel tomorrow. It may happen, but those are the choices for now, but I'll put something about that closer to the time when I get there. The next videos you're going to see in terms of builds in the immediate near future, firstly is going to be this. This is the Airfix Lysander. I have been working on this in the background for a little while, obviously, because it's painted already, and this will be put out in the 2 video format, so there'll be one video detailing the build and a second painting, deckling, weathering and finishing. So there's that will be with you within the next week or two, and it is just a beautiful kit. I've really enjoyed working on it. After that, you're going to get this. The Airfix Spitfire TR9. This thing is truly spectacular. It's at a very initial stage of construction, as you can clearly see at the moment, and again this is going to be the 2 video format, one for build, one for finishing. And I'll say this now with this kit, everybody out there, all of the modellers, all of you need to set aside all of your preconceived notions about what an Airfix kit is when it comes to this thing, because this, and I never thought I would say this with any honesty, is on such a level that it, and I really mean this, and you're going to think I'm an idiot when I say it, this is giving Edward a run for their money. Look at this. It is absolutely stunning. The surface detail is a tiny bit heavy-handed for my taste, yes, but the internal detail, the way it's being carried out, the way it fits together, it's truly, it's spectacular. I'm blown away by it, really, to the point where I thought the TR9 release was a stroke of genius, and I said that in my review, but I thought that the standard Mark 9 release off the back of this was probably a bit of a waste of time. I'm completely going to retract that statement right now, because this genuinely, it's beautiful, and this will be after the Lysander. So you're going to get Lysander, then you're going to get Spitfire TR9. After that, things are going to be a little bit more cloudy, patchy, changeable, and subject to amendment, because there is some big life stuff going on in the background at the moment. Many or most of you will be aware I recently retired from serving in the Royal Air Force after 23 years. So I'm now a civilian, and I'm working in a civilian job, albeit in a very similar arena to where I was before. Most of you probably don't know that in the last couple of years I've split from my husband of over 20 years or so, and I'm flying solo. So whilst I've been in the military, I've been living in military housing as a person with a family, living in family's quarters, and because I've left, I now have to leave that housing. So I'm in the process of buying a house, which is happening. It's ongoing and will be happening quite soon. So I have to take this opportunity to point out that there will be an inevitable, unfortunate gap in proceedings, really, whilst I move house, and indeed then set up a whole new work area in the house that I'm going to, and that house is going to be significantly smaller than this one, so that will lead on to something else that I need to talk about in a short while. So filling in the gaps, the Spitfire and the Lysander will be done before I leave here, and as such will be able to be put up without unnecessary delay. But to fill in the gaps in the meantime, it's just going to be reviewing Chatterbox City, I think. It's going to have to be. I can't build if I don't have a bench, and it's going to take time to get everything set up because, as I say, I am on my own, I do work, and I have a 13-year-old daughter, so I have a lot of demands on my time as it is. Right, so a couple of things I just picked up from Hannon's. I've been waiting for this box to arrive. My lovely post lady has delivered it this morning. Wow, I've got a free catalogue for IBG because I didn't order that, and I seem to have opened the bottom of the box. How odd. So as so often is the case, I went on Hannon's for something simple, which was this. I have an awful lot of Spitfire decal sheets and Spitfire parts in my arsenal. I've got 2 IBG catalogues. I wonder if these are being put into boxes in lieu of packaging material. That's strange. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, I needed decals for the 2-seater because I'm not doing either of the options that's in the box directly. I'm going to do this aircraft here because it features my initials principally. Obviously this is the original ML365, I think it is, which was flown by Johnny Walker, hence the JW, and PV202, which is the box art aircraft on the TR9 kit, is now flying in these markings. So I'm going to do that one. Now obviously I can scratch together most of this stuff easily enough, but what the aircraft does feature, apart from the squadron leader pennant on the side, or the squadron commander pennant, is the little Johnny Walker whiskey man on the side there, and I didn't fancy trying to paint that with a paintbrush, so I had a look through my significant stash of Spitfire decals and couldn't find anything. Didn't have it, so I went online and was able to grab this decal sheet. This is from Dutch Decals, or DK Decals. They're just called DK now. I think they used to be called Dutch Decals. My apologies. And as you can see, it features a bunch of Spitfire 9 and 16 aircraft, up to and including some pink ones, 12 and 13. LF Mark 9 16 Squadron. Oh, it might be fun to do one like that because this is going to be 16 Squadron. Anyway, these are all aircraft of the 2nd Tactical Air Force, shortly post-invasion and towards the end of the Second World War, and as a result some of the aircraft do wear some slightly brighter, more exciting markings than some earlier aircraft. I do like the yellow ringed roundels on the upper wings. I find those to be attractive. Anyway, that's why I bought this decal sheet. Really in essence just for the little man. but I have the option of using the codes and roundels should I choose to or need to, if I don't decide to use masks. But these are very, very nice looking decals, so I may well just use these, to be honest, since I've got them and paid for them. So that's why I did the order at Hannants, but as is sort of almost always the case with me and my modelling club friends, when you order stuff from Hannants you always end up ordering extra, don't you? I don't quite make it to the £100 for free postage most times, but always seem to end up ordering extra. IBG catalogue. Did not know IBG did a 1/32 PZL 11. Some quite interesting stuff in this catalogue actually. So any ship modellers around, please tell me why we don't have 1/350 scale or bigger of some of these destroyers. Some Second World War destroyers. Some of them are just such amazing stories behind them, and they don't seem to be kitted in the larger scales, because a 1/700 destroyer is not a very big thing, and we're going to touch on that again in a minute as well. Some wheelie and tracky things, lots of them. There are a lot of interesting subjects across the board with IBG, but they mostly don't seem to focus on the scales that I prefer. I don't prefer 1/72 armour. I can understand why some do. There is some 1/35 as well though. Well, I got two of those. Okay. Kit wise then, this little beauty was in the special offers area for £15, $14.99. Special hobby grasshopper, or Piper Cub if you prefer. Pacific Warriors boxing, and this one comes with some Australian and some Dutch markings. I'll do a review in due course. I have an idea for a nice review on this one. The other one I got, something that will probably interest a lot more people, the brand new releasing, new tooling of the Mosquito, and it is the 16 again. I did look at the NF30, but I just found the schemes in this to be far more alluring, and it is just such a beautiful aircraft, isn't it? Beautiful box art, absolutely lovely. And I was interested, having used the Mark 16 Mosquito as in my initial modelling for beginners series. I was interested actually to pick this up to see how it compares. There's a lot of parts, you can see that straight away. And Special Hobby as a brand used to be a bit sketchy, didn't they? You never really knew what you were going to get, but it was generally short run, quite often a little bit tricky. That isn't really the case anymore. There's the NF30, and the markings that you get with it are shown there. And they also do a suite of accessories for both dinghy box, wheels, trolleyac, which can be used across numerous subjects. That's a nice addition. Some crew, some masks, 3D printed exhausts. There's all your marking options. But again, I'll do a proper review on this in due course. The other kit I've got in is for another project I want to do. It won't be straight away, this one. But it arose from some comments and conversation on one of the videos where someone, and I don't recall who it was, suggested that it might be nice if I were to relinquish my comfort zone for a video, or to build something that I don't normally build. The problem with that from your point of view as viewers is that while I do appear to only build aircraft, I've actually built kits of almost everything in my time. I'm a modeller. Yes, I am an aviation enthusiast, very much so, but I'm also a modelling enthusiast, and on that basis I'll build models of absolutely anything. So I've got no issues at all with building something slightly abnormal. And I settled on the idea of building a ship, but also making it really hard for myself by adding ship photo etch, which is absolutely crazy. So what I did is I looked around and I saw this, as I play World of Warships on the Xbox as well. And I found something that I thought might be a nice little project, because I didn't want to do a small scale ship, but large scale ships are large and can let very long and involved projects. So I wanted a large scale ship that wasn't large, hence the destroyer. And I've picked this Japanese one, the Kagaro, because it's a modern kit, it's a modern-ish Tamiya kit, so I thought it should be decent. Shockingly expensive, actually, I thought. And in conjunction with that, I've got this. This is an Infini model detailing set for the Tamiya Kagaro. And I got in touch with Ed at Premium Hobbies and said, are you able to get these? Because they sell Infini products. And he said, yes, of course, we can get any Infini product to order if you want something. What do you need? And I said, I'd like this. So they got me one in. So yes, I want to do a video build or series of a video build series on this kit here. So again, I'm not going to do a full review right now as we sit here, but have a quick look, because I just was talking about 1/350 scale destroyers, wasn't I? And here it is. Obviously this is just the underneath of the hull, but it's really not very big. It actually it does fit under the camera. And there's the hull in its waterline form. It's less than a finger thick. So it's not a large model, but it is a ship, and it is a little bit different, and it is something that I don't normally build and I don't have a massive amount of knowledge on. Oh, I've just noticed inside the lid of the box, Tamiya what a silly place to put it. Wow. Okay, Tamiya do provide some photo etch in this kit. Okay. So this kit was £46, I think. Got this one from Jadlam. I'm not going to lie, I can't remember what I paid for this set here, but it was at least as much, probably a bit more actually, as the kit itself. But you do get a lot of stuff. It's a serious bit of weight here. Big old instruction, fold out instructions. And just, I've not even opened it yet. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Two full frets of photo etch then. There's all sorts of things here, railings and bits and pieces and bits of deck and just things, and some of them are just terrifyingly small and fragile looking. Grimacing a little bit. And then here is a little pack of gun barrels. And I believe there's some other things there as well. I believe that all of the gun barrels on the ship are reproduced here. So some lycra ridding thread on a little bobbin. Those might even be torpedoes. Maybe some masts and gun barrels, all turned brass bits. A load of turned brass barrels then, some rigging thread and 2 full sheets of photo etch. It's a lot of stuff, it's very comprehensive. But anyway, that will be a build that I want to do on the channel for the lols. It won't be a boats for beginners series, it will more be a boats by a beginner series, where I will annoy all the boat modelers out there by calling for things the incorrect names, painting things random colours, and generally being inept. But it should be an interesting journey. I do think that nicely built ship models are extremely nice things to look at. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, as I say, slightly further into the future, this won't be tackled until I'm in situ and set up at the new house, and everything's settled down a little bit. And the other thing that I have been working on a little bit and will be working on a little bit in the period between leaving this, between finishing the Lysander and TR9 builds and leaving this house, I'm going to work on the big Silver Spitfire project. I've made a bit of headway on that, and I do want to get that done because it will look spectacular. So then will probably be some more episodes in that too in the next 2 to 3 months. So I would envisage then that the slowdown in content, I will warn you when it comes to it anyway, but I would envisage probably 2 to 3 months before I move, and then maybe another 2 to 3 months before I'm fully up and running again. So really the back end of this year and the beginning of next will probably be a little bit on the quiet side, but I will endeavour to do chatterboxes and reviews to keep some content flowing. If I can't manage to do proper builds, then at least I can do that. And in the spirit of that, I do need to reduce the size of my stash. I did think about titling this video something along the lines of, "Hi, my name's Jennifer and I'm a modelaholic." You know, parody of the Alcoholics Anonymous kind of greeting. I wouldn't say I've got a problem, but my stash is much bigger than it needs to be. Technically, with the build rate that I'm on, I have enough models to keep me going until I shuffle this mortal coil as it is. And it is too much, it's too many, it requires too much storage space, and you know, there's a lot of money tied up in it because none of them are terrible kits, really. Everything I buy, genuinely, I buy with a view to building. I don't buy things for the sake of having a collection. There are a small number of kits, admittedly, that I own that I have no intention of building, which I've bought for nostalgia purposes or I've owned for a very, very long time. But that the number of those is less than 10. So it's everything else. And with the advent of the YouTube channel around about when COVID was happening, I've kind of found myself buying a lot more new release kits because I want to get a video out on them. I do get some kits for free, yes, that's true, and I do get some stuff for a slightly lower price than everyone else. That is also true, but there's still way too much money and space tied up in my stash, and because of that, I am starting to put some kits on eBay. It's an unwieldy platform in many ways, but in other ways it is just the easiest way to go about this. So I'm going to, and this is I'm hoping I'm not making a big mistake here, because it's not just kits that I'm selling on my eBay account. There's obviously personal items and bits and pieces as well. But I'm going to put my eBay, a link to my eBay in the description. So if any of you want to add to your stashes that you do have space for, feel free to pop onto my eBay account, have a look, and maybe pop a few bids on. You'll be doing me a big favour, because I need the space and I do need the money as well. There's going to be some kits on there that have been reviewed on the channel if you want a link to anything I've done on the channel. And if any of you buy a kit and make yourselves known to me during that process, I'll chuck a Genesis sticker in there for you. Okay, I think that about covers it. Bit of a ramble, I know, but I'm going to get back to my coffee, and I'm going to do a little bit of modelling now. I'm off to a vintage car show today in my own vintage car. Lovely little place locally that does cars and coffee meets once a month, which I really enjoy. So I'm off to do that in a while with my nephew, actually. But until then, I'm going to do some nice quiet Saturday morning modelling. I hope you can all have a happy and relaxing weekend doing the things that you enjoy as well. And with all of that said, I think it only remains for me to say, till next time, look after yourselves, look after each other. Genesis out.